First off, rest in peace, neighborhood nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante Davis.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, Faith Over Fear.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
What up, what up, what up? This is the 3-Man Weave podcast, and we are here to present you with everybody's favorite time, mock draft time.
Lord.
And before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce my bald brother, who I got with me.
You already know who it is, your boy Hill.
Turn that volume down.
Your boy Hill go Hill regardless, baby. Let's get to it.
All right, so we normally do our annual mock, and we just normally run through it, and we do kind of the mock how we feel the teams would make their move. And so normally we'll probably stick to that. We're not going to make any trades. We may bring up some teams that are in the market, but we're not going to make any trades. And this year we're going to do it a little bit different. We're just going to alternate. So this season for part one, I will be doing, and what did I say? I'm doing the evens, and you have the odds. All right. Yeah. So you have the evens, and I have the odds, and we will be using the PFF mock draft simulator. I tend to like how the PFF mock draft simulator kind of operates. It's very smooth. They have a updated big board, so we're going to use that. And without further ado, Hill.
I got the first pick.
The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
It should be real easy. The offseason that they've had, they started off thinking they was going to take, kind of a generational talent, best player available type of mantra. And then they started making some moves, and then they started making other moves to try to shore this offensive lineup, and that gave you the indication that they trying to get this offensive line together for a quarterback. So with no further ado, I'm gonna go with Cam Ward.
All right, let's scroll on down. Did I pass him? There you go.
There you go.
21. The 21 rank, the 21st ranked overall prospect on PFF's big board goes number one. That QB tax, man. All right.
Absolutely. Number two, you got it.
Number two, the Browns are on the clock. And to me, I think the Browns would sprint up to the podium and go Abdul Carter here. Sometimes for me, it's like if you have a team with quite a few glaring needs or just some glaring needs, and it may not necessarily be somebody in this position that necessarily would be worth the pick for where you're at. Go BPA / make a strength. So I'm going to go Abdul Carter here. So to me, you have Myles Garrett, a do-it-all edge rusher, plays all over the line. You pair him up with, an extreme speed rusher with Abdul Carter. I think that's just going to give, offenses fits. So to me, the pick here is Abdul Carter. To me, it makes sense with, who's available.
Who's going to play quarterback?
I'm going to be asked anyway.
So with the third pick, I have the Giants, and with them bringing back Tommy Cutlets, with them signing Jameis Winston, with them signing Russell Wilson, it's like, could they take a Shedeur here? I mean, they're not married to no quarterback for real financially, but why did you sign these people? You could have waited.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that gave the indication to me that they're not taking the quarterback here. So we're going to go ahead and, it's nasty.
I had to go to page 2. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it with the BPA mantra that we've got going on, and I'm going to go with Travis Hunter.
Ooh. The New England Patriots.
They hurt for you.
No, I think the New England Patriots are kind of hurt with this one, but I don't know for sure. So like I said, I think that they would hope that one of the other quarterbacks went so they can get their pick of either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
But with that happening, hey, that's kind of what it is. New England Patriots here, they could go a lot of ways. But with Mike Vrabel coming in the building and how I foresee he kind of wants to play football, I'm going to do a little bit of scrolling here. And I'm going to go to Freak Show with Armand Membu.
I knew. Okay, go ahead. Let's talk.
Go ahead. He put on a show. I do think Will Campbell kind of, is in play here still. Just because I think he plays aggressive. He kind of fits that, that Mike Vrabel mean streak. But I think just at this pick, some of those, shortcomings, no pun intended, might kind of, make other people in the building kind of shy away from, doing that, when I think Armand Membu is still a high quality tackle. And I understand that they need a receiver, but just when it comes to offensive linemen, a lot of times, if you don't get them in the first round, they don't come right in and produce for you. And I think they need someone to come right in and produce for you. So I'm going to go with Armand Membu here.
I'll wait to say what I want to say once Will Campbell gets picked. We'll
for
have
sure
a discussion about him, because we keep this moving. I do like Armand Membu as well. I mean, the Patriots need offensive linemen everywhere. So,
everywhere, yeah, for sure.
The fact that he's just a right tackle doesn't stop me from drafting him as well. So it's a good pick. I'm on the clock with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is easy. This is Mason Graham.
Yeah, like before we thought, oh, Mason Graham, there was going to be a slide, but after a while, it's just like, it just makes sense. You know what I mean? Like with what you need, I think it just kind of fits.
You was dealing with a lot of player fatigue in this draft in particular, because the star players in this draft were already talked about immediately, and it's like, okay, we cannot talk about those same exact players the entire draft process. So we had to start saying something or start focusing on the negative. And sometimes you throw something at the wall, sometimes it sticks. And they tried to throw, his weight on his weight, short arm, and he doesn't look the part. And then it's like, okay, all right, bro, look at the film. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we was tripping. This ain't gonna. we can only lie, but so much. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I went with Mason Graham. They tried it, and it fell short. And you move on.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see what you're gonna do right here.
So this is kind of a cheap pick, kind of going off of what some leadership said about who they were going to pick. And I think it pairs well. A lot of people have been putting them, with this, the coaching staff saying he wants to get someone who runs hard, like a previous player that he had. I'm going Ashton Jeanty here. There's been some comments made, and if he's on the board, I think that this is where they would go. A lot of people think that he is one of the top 5 players in this entire draft, regardless of position. So to me, when you're a team that kind of just, hey, you need a little bit of everything, just get you some football players in here, and I think Ashton Jeanty is one of those guys. And again, this is what we think
what they would do.
Yes.
So question is, last season, was their run blocking that bad, or was those running backs just that bad? Because they was one of the they were ranked one of the worst interior run blocking units in the league.
Right. But I also don't think that offensive line is that bad. I think they have some pieces there. And so I think you get someone who can. I don't think he's going to come in and have like a Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs level rookie performance, just because I don't think that he's behind one of those level offensive lines. But the way he's able to operate in space and make people miss, I think he can make them look a lot better. And then I think with them having competency at quarterback too, I think it's going to open some things up and allow them to be able to kind of operate and move the ball, especially, if they're able to get a wide receiver later on in this draft that can come in and help with Brock Bowers, and I believe it's Jacoby Myers, right?
Yeah.
So that I believe that they'll be able to get, another receiver in there. And I think this offense could take a step and actually look pretty damn competent.
It could.
All right. Jets is on the clock.
You threw me for a little loop because I was ready to go run to the podium for Mimbu. Here I'm trying to think about, it's a new regime. What are they really thinking about? I know Aaron Glenn was very high on his running backs. He said all three is good. So it's like, okay, what is he really trying to do? What is he trying to do on offense? Okay, what is he really trying to do on defense? They lost DJ Reed. Is this the moment where they can go with Jahdae Barron, similar to a Brian Branch, somebody that he coached? It's right. Like, what would they do in this moment? And I'm kind of thinking that. But at the same time, they do need another offensive weapon bad. It's Garrett Wilson and the Temptations.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I'm
coming to see Otis.
Do I want to go with the wrench? It's the monkey wrench either way. I'm gonna go with Jahdae Barron. I think Aaron Glenn is gonna have he's gonna put his stamp on something. And with the way the board is falling right now, I guess he'll rather go with a DB than a Tyler Warren at this point. Those were the picks for me.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what, and when you said offensive weapon, that's kind of who I was looking to, especially, with some of the, talk of, hey, we're going to get Justin Fields. We believe in him and we're going to give him every shot that we can. And so having a Tyler Warren who can kind of do it all and help in the run game and in the pass game, I think that would definitely be someone that you would look at. But I think having a Jahdae Barron, kind of that chess piece in that secondary would be someone that I think that, they would like.
Especially if he's going to play a similar way that he played in Detroit. He got some pieces to work with, like you say, but that chess piece he didn't. He lacks. I understand that you ain't got Andre Cisco, but he can roam in the field. You're gonna need that chess piece. I think if he get, like you said, you get a Jahdae, man, it might unlock the defense, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think so. And so, like I said, I think that would be like, especially with the kind of like already the defensive front that they possess. Get some guys on that back end, pair them with, Sauce, be able to move it around. And I think that could be something. All right. So I'm up with the Panthers.
Yeah. Another interesting pick.
Another interesting pick. To me, you cannot go wrong going defense here.
That's what Dave Canales said.
You cannot go wrong with going defense here. I
know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
I was looking at a Tyler Warren because, hey, quarterback's best friend, a tight end that you can just get the ball to. And I'm not sure how I feel about, Mike Green or James Pierce or Ezeraku. A lot of these, it looks like it could be some reaches, but this man right here, because of the measurables and what some people believe the potential can be, I'm gonna go Shamar Stewart here, and I think this is like I said. This. What? Go ahead, say it.
That was gonna be my pick next.
Oh, shit.
But
Yep,
it's
all
okay.
right.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't want to hold us hostage, but you said something that I got to get this off my chest. You said this may seem like a reach here. No, it's not, bro. This is
Okay.
going to be the weirdest draft in a while. Like I say, it's the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like I said, we can go by. We listen to a plethora of people, of a wide variety of people, and we can hear the differences of what they say about any particular player. We can listen to the same 5 players, and they got 5 different opinions already.
That's a fact.
Even Travis Hunter, we done heard 5 different comparisons about who he is as a player.
Yeah, for sure.
So I kind of I want people to get this out of their mind of this is a reach.
And you know what? And we said that we were going to do this draft based off of what we feel the teams would do. And when I said that this is a reach, that was a personal thing in my mind. And that's where it kind of came up. Because again, like you said, this is one of those beauties in the eye of the beholders, because we only feel like usually you feel like you can get to about pick, maybe 10, 11, where you can get like some certified, hey, he's going to be good. This draft, after Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, and Mason Graham, it's pretty much like, who do you have at the top of your board? Who's your guy? And this is one of those like, hey, just go, like if your guy is there, go get your guy, regardless of where you think people have him like in the consensus.
And that's the problem I've been having with the people that I've been listening to, is like,
and
I respect everybody that's put in the work. I get it. You put it in the work, you've been watching the players, you've been ranking the players, and you keep saying, this is where I have them on my board, This is where I have them here. That's cool. Keep putting that caveat. But bro, if somebody goes out here and picks somebody that you may have ranked in the second, bro, this ain't one of them. I don't even know if the consensus got a consensus. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
A lot of dudes are all over the place. I can't even front.
Exactly. So it's like I think we got to retrain ourselves, especially on this draft. But I'm on the clock. I got the Saints, and you threw a monkey rich. And I've been talking to a lot of Saints people. They've been talking, they want Tet. They want Tet. And selfishly, I can just avoid Tet right here and be like, Tet go to the Cowboys. Gotta get Tet. But I'm gonna tell you who the pick gonna be. The pick is going to be Tet. But it would have been Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, especially with Brandon Staley as the defensive coordinator, Jalen Walker is a play right here.
For sure. And if Shamar Stewart happens to go before the Saints, do you think that they would look at, a Michael Williams by chance?
No.
Okay.
I think specifically for Brandon Staley, he comes from that versatile cloth of using players, different in a multitude of ways. So, for example, if you think about a Jalen Walker, somebody that's he's not just a off-ball linebacker. So he can play off-ball linebacker and he can rush the passer. You know what I'm saying? Which way do you play him in? You have somebody at Brandon Staley elk that could utilize him to that ability. You have somebody, the athleticism of a Shamar Stewart is somebody that he could probably utilize as well. Get some one-on-ones and try to unlock some of those things. We know about him. Michael is a particular one of those eye of the beholders type of, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So if we running a traditional type of 4-3 or different, because Brandon Staley he come from the 3-4 cloth as well. So I don't know if they really have the personnel to make this transition immediately to a 3-4, but especially with getting a Jalen Walker, if they're trying to go to a 3-4, because now that outside, he put him in outside, and now he's just not just rushing the pass. He's doing a lot of things. He may be covering the flat display or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going with Tet.
Yeah. All right,
I think
for sure.
with Chris Olave's concussion history.
Injury history, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely they can't just keep banking on him just staying healthy because he's getting concussions on regular falls at this point now.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's real scary about that. With this, I'm on the clock with the Chicago Bears, and you can go a lot of ways here. A lot of people talk about, if Ashton Jeanty were to fall, this would be a place that he could go. They have quite a few needs, but I think that this is a pick where you could start to entertain, Mike Green, James Pierce, but some people are saying, hey, they have, some character concerns. Some people are saying, they passed up on Jalen Carter because of those character concerns. So would they necessarily, go after someone like James Pierce or Mike Green, who, kind of had that same issue? And one of the things that a lot of people do, they try to right their wrong by going back on what they did. And so that's why I'm going Mike Green here, because a pure pass rusher to play opposite from Montez Sweat and just, get after the ball. You got a response?
I would have went, but I was thinking about Mikel right here. We just
Yeah.
talked. Well, I just talked about traditional,
Right.
4-3 edge. Like you said, you put him alongside of Montez, opposite side of Montez Sweat. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think kind of like with being in that division with, a Jared Goff, a Jordan Love, and and that Kevin O'Connell offense, you kind of want to start putting pressure. And I think with what Mike Green, kind of showed on tape and at the Senior Bowl, I think he has a higher floor as a pass rusher. So I think that's one of the things that Chicago might look for. And I think Chicago is also a team that could possibly double up on the defensive line and then start kind of, getting some guys on the interior too to help out a player like Mike Green. So I'm gonna go Mike Green here. Hill's on the clock at pick 11.
I think they staring at the
Okay, let me back. I go roll my bow.
Okay, go bowl. I think they got a multitude of options right here, and with Will Campbell on the board. You okay?
You scare me?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going with Will Campbell.
For sure. And when you went Tet at 9 for the Saints, this was one of those players I was like, I think Will Campbell might be in play there too, because I mean, they could use upgrades at a couple positions on that offensive line, and you kind of want to give Derek Carr and whoever they might try and bring in eventually some help. But I think if Will Campbell gets to the 49ers, they have to go there, because we talk about the Temptations. It's been Trent Williams in the Temptations for quite some time.
And that's what, and then, like I said, you put him in that zone blocking scheme. His short arms is really
his athleticism. He showed it, so it's definitely something where he'll be able to. I think he'll be able to excel.
Exactly, like you said, you could move him inside at guard, at least for the first year, and then when Trent retires, you can move him. You can move him back. I think he can. I believe he can play tackle. I believe he is a tackle. Do I have faith in him? He can move inside the guard? Yes, I do. But I believe that he is a tackle. But at the end of the day, Will Campbell is a football player. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And for him being a football player, I'm not sure that if he gets a 30 visit to the New England Patriots and he has a conversation with Mike Vrabel, I'm not sure that he's taking anybody other than, of course, if Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter is on the board, they easily going to get picked. But I'm not sure that Vrabel is going to pick anybody other than Will Campbell.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I understand.
And we talked about that. Like, I said it's very possible because he also fits that Mike Vrabel mold. But yeah,
At the same time, you can say the same thing about Will Campbell. Like you said, the 49ers tough, gritty team. They
Yeah.
gonna need some grit. Like I said, Will Campbell fits right in. On the clock. Yeah, what are you gonna do here? And,
The
and D
Dallas
White is
Cowboys.
and D White is still here in the building, hopefully.
Oh, goodness gracious. The
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. And with the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Jihad Campbell. It's like, nah, I ain't gonna do that to you. With Tyler Warren on the board, I thought about it. It was just like, I think I want someone in that offense that may be able to kind of be a field stretcher. And I think his combine helped that. So I'm going Matthew Golden here. Another player that I actually was thinking was Kelvin Banks for y'all, because I think it would be able to settle your offensive line. And you quite possibly may be able to find another field stretcher. But to me, just go ahead and try and get someone that you kind of, believe in, high level talent, and see what you can do later on. You've been pretty good at drafting O-linemen throughout, the past couple of years. So maybe, you'll be able to do some evaluations or pick a different O-lineman maybe in round 2, or a guard in round 3, possibly, Tate Ratledge or someone like that. Yeah. But I'm going Matthew Golden here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you.
Would you have been interested in someone like a Tyler Warren, even though he's not as explosive?
We talked about this our last episode on Dallas Duo. I'm glad you mentioned that about Tyler Warren. I like Tyler Warren, and I would like him in Dallas, but at the same time, I would want a savvy front office move right after that. Like, I would want Jake Ferguson to be traded after that, like, or moving on from a Schoonamaker or something. I would want to unlock this room. I don't want anybody in his way. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it's not the fact that I don't like Tyler
before
Warren.
we get to the next pick, Brother Farmer said he. Just a quick little rundown.
You froze,
but I got you.
Okay.
Cam, quick little rundown. Cam Ward went number 1 overall. Abdul Carter went to the Browns. Travis Hunter to the Giants. Armand Mambu to the Patriots. Mason Graham to the Jaguars. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. Jahdae Barron to the Jets. Shamar Stewart to the Panthers. Ted McMillan to the Saints. Mike Green to the Bears. Will Campbell to the Niners. And as you saw, Matthew Golden to the Dallas Cowboys.
And we'll do that again. We'll do another recap again when we get to pick 20. So
yeah, for sure.
Do that
again. And right now we got the Miami Dolphins on the clock, and I don't care who is available that is good. They need to get an offensive lineman. And Kelvin Banks, you are going to Miami, sir. I don't.
It's my pick, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. It is your pick. I'm sorry. My fault.
Now I got the pick.
No, you don't.
Because I'm not.
Okay.
Because like you said, bro, they need everything.
Yeah.
Like, they need everything. They went forward and then they tried to penny pinch, and then the penny pinching didn't really help. Like I said, when Tua got hurt, Kelvin Banks would definitely be high. Malachi Starks would be high. Of course, losing what was the safety that they lost?
Holland.
Losing him, so it would be high. But once again, they need everything. Scroll back up for me. I mean, damn, bro.
My fault. But I went to the top.
I can't remember if the power is how the analytics department really runs things for them, but I know where I'm going.
Where you going?
Walter Nolan.
Okay.
They need a defensive tackle bad, bro. They got one of the worst defensive after losing Christian Watkins.
Yeah. So you going Walter Nolan?
Yes, sir.
I like
run it to the podium.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I like Walter Nolan, but I think just again, this is what I think that they would do. You gotta fix the offensive line, but maybe they feel like they can do something else there. Here, Shane Steichen, Tyler Warren, Colts. I think we don't even need to explain that
at all. I got this is a team that need everything defense. So
Yep.
Go scroll down for me. Me personally, I think a Jihad Campbell will be perfect for their defense, but they actually not, because they actually do have off-ball linebackers that are actually good. So yeah, keep scrolling down. They could use another corner opposite of why am I losing dudes' names, bro? Clemson cornerback that they got from that's good.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. They lost Grady Jarrett this year. That is a good possibility that they could get Kenneth Grant. But they gonna keep the boy in Georgia. I'm glad you scrolled down. You made me think about it. They getting Michael Williams right here.
There you go. All right.
You know what?
Already
fully committed. Yep, already fully committed. It's okay.
All right.
Hey, they need anybody on the defense, like I said. So I wouldn't be surprised if they would have went Kenneth Grant, Michael Williams, Jalen Walker, Jihad Campbell. No,
any defensive player.
I do, like I say, they do have off-ball linebackers. So I need to stop saying that. So anybody other than, if they think Jalen Walker is off-ball, is an edge rusher, then cool. Then he didn't play as well. But I'm going with Michael Williams, staying at home.
Yep. With the Cardinals on the clock, I think this is where, I think Will Johnson is going to come off the board for me. There, like I said, there could have been a Kenneth Grant, James Pierce as a Raku, but to me, I think Will Johnson has a high enough upside, especially if you kind of go off that 2023, performance that he had. He kind of, fell down a little bit, but it seemed like a lot of dudes on that Michigan defense kind of took a step back. But I think you get Will Johnson in that Jonathan Gannon system. I think they'll be very happy with this pick here at Will Johnson if he does make it to them.
Absolutely. Cincinnati Bengals is on the clock. Now you lucky I already let Walter Nolan go. That's what I should have waited for. Al Golden, and then I definitely would have picked Will Johnson if he was still on that board.
Yep.
But I'm thinking, keep scrolling. Y'all not gonna go. Y'all not gonna do what I want y'all to do. But this pick right here, 17. Y'all gonna go. Y'all wouldn't do a Kenneth Grant right here, I don't think, but I do believe that a Darren Harmon is definitely in play right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Derek Harmon.
Derek Harmon. All right, Derek Harmon it is. I think all things considered, I think it would be between Kenneth Grant and a Kelvin Banks Jr. I do like what Derek Harmon does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I like what Derek Harmon does, opposed to what Kenneth Grant brings to the table. But for some reason, I think when it comes to, this small ass scouting department that they have,
mm-hmm.
I think they would just, go right up to Michigan, right up to Michigan, get Kenneth Grant, and then, have him there with, he played with Chris Jenkins Jr. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So unfortunately, I think that's what they would do. But
I was thinking about it, and I probably should have went with Kenneth Grant, to be quite honest. But I personally think I like a Derek Harmon, especially off the personnel that y'all have. I think he works well with all the pieces in the DT room right now. Like I say, he can give you some one tech. He can give you plenty 3 tech and plenty 3 techs. But with, like I said, with Will Johnson off the board, personally with Walter Nolan off the board, I think Walter Nolan would have been a no-brainer for y'all, in my opinion. But let's move on now.
Yep. All right. So with pick 18, the Seattle Seahawks are going to draft Malachi Starks.
We know who the coach is.
Yeah, we know who the coach is. So to me, some people, have Nicky Manwari over Malachi Starks, but I think if Malachi Starks falls to them in this position, I think, they'd be elated and they'd be running that card up. And so to me, I don't even think I need to do much explaining. It's just, hey, Malachi Starks, you are Seattle Seahawks.
I think you do because explaining that Nick Emery joint because it gives you Seattle, it gives you
for sure
Cam Chancellor vibes and all that. But
once again,
you have to remember
they also
who the
had Earl
coach
Thomas.
You have to remember who the coach is too. Like you said,
sure.
but you also have Earl Thomas. But like I said, Malachi is more of a move around, more of a Kyle Hamilton Elch type of.
I think what a lot of people kind of confused with Nicky Manwari, they see how he ran at the combine, his size and everything, and they're like, oh, that's your Kyle Hamilton replacement there, but he's actually not kind of like the all over safety that Malachi Starks is. Malachi Starks is more of a guy who can sit up there in center field and then come down in the box and do a little bit of everything. Nicky Manwari, even though he put up crazy numbers at the combine, he's more of an in the box hit you kind of guy. So I think to me, Malachi Starks would be the pick there.
This is easy for me. Jihad Campbell for the Bucks. They definitely need another interior off-ball linebacker because Devontae Davis cannot play forever, bro.
Yeah, he cannot. All right. So you going Jihad Campbell?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the Bucks, and a lot of people kind of have
Broncos.
A couple Broncos. Okay, yes, Broncos. We just did the Bucks. So there's a couple places that the Broncos could go, especially with some of the people that they have on the board. You still have a Kenneth Grant, but I'm gonna go with the Omarion Hampton pick here. Colston Loveland is someone that I think Sean Payton would like in that offense as a really good move tight end. But I think someone like Omarion Hampton who can still, break that big play from the backfield, I think would be something that Sean Payton likes, because if we go back to Sean Payton's time in New Orleans, he kept him some running backs. He kept him multiple running backs. And I think he wants someone with that explosive ability, that game-breaking ability. And, I think having Omarion Hampton here, opposed to some of the other players that are here, I think fits them a little bit more. I think if if the Tet slide continued, I think that might be something that would, be able to be considered, even though some people may feel like it's kind of redundant with the Courtland Sutton. I think that Sean Payton would like that, because he would be able to have kind of, that like we've seen him with Robert Meacham and Marcus Colston, two big guys, just go up and get it kind of guys. So I think that, I think that would be something that he would do, even though some people may feel it's redundant. I think it would work, but I'm gonna go Omarion Hampton here. Go ahead.
Can I say what I want to say about these running backs?
For sure.
I believe this is one of the deepest running backs draft in a while. I'm in agreement with everybody that feels that sentiment. The NFL gonna have to show me, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I mean by the NFL gonna have to show me, let's rewind back when we said to the Malik, that was the Malik Willis draft.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett draft.
Mm-hmm.
And when they would say, oh, these quarterbacks are so bad. But we kept seeing Malik Willis being mocked all over the place.
Yeah.
And I remember saying it then. I'm like, okay, y'all keep telling me that this draft class is trash, but these are quarterbacks. Y'all are going to have to show me that they really trash. And what did they do? They showed. They be like, hey, look, we don't believe in this quarterback class. Okay, cool. Now that's on the flip side. Y'all didn't already devalue running back so much, and a lot of these analytical nerds is taking over and all this stuff. You mean to tell me that all of a sudden that now all of a sudden the running backs are being valued again? Now I can't. After Genty, I'm cool with Genty going first, but I don't think another running back is going in this first round. And I believe that the moment that the second round hit, then that's when we're gonna see a whole hell of a run.
Yeah.
Teams that don't even need running back will start getting running backs at a high clip. That's just my thoughts.
I feel you, but I do believe, kind of like I said, going off of some of the things that I've seen, like because Omarion Hampton would immediately come in and be their number one featured back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why I feel that way. Because again, like I said, I think it would either, to me, if one of if a Matthew Golden or a Tet drop, I think that would be the pick here. But without it, to me, it seems like this may be a spot where it's either Colston Loveland or Omarion Hampton. But I just think Omarion Hampton would be the pick here.
Go ahead and make the pick. You know who the pick should have been?
Who?
It should have been Luther Burden.
Yeah.
But we hearing a whole bunch of nonsense with all that stuff he's been saying. He's been wanting a joker. He's been wanting to move around and all that stuff, and all the things that he still wants to do with this offense, he can do later in this draft.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you say, but hey, everybody want to keep overthinking this Luther Burden joint. All right, cool. Yeah, we already know, man. Shedeur. And we going before we get to we'll have another like draft oriented episode before the draft. And they just had their pro day today, and we already starting to hear a multitude of whoever you starting to hear everything again when it comes to Colorado and their players. I'm gonna tell you right now, bro, the NFL is going to mess up. I understand what they're trying to do. They are trying to humble Shedeur and Deion. They trying to humble them. They're trying to find a way. Hey, we're gonna get some get back, right? They trying to do that, and I get it. And they will go out. We know they will go out their way to try to humble you. Okay, cool. Do that. If you allow, I'm telling you right now, I don't give a damn if Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator. If you allow Shedeur Sanders to get with Mike Tomlin, come on, bro. What are we doing here, dog? What are we really doing here at this point, bro? All them deficiencies that y'all keep wanting to bring up that if it was somebody else,
they would overlook.
They will overlook. Oh! Now all of a sudden we don't want a confident quarterback. Like, now all of a sudden he arrogant.
Since when, right?
We want a big timid motherfucker now. Like, all right, bro. Like, I'm telling you, man. Like, I get it. I'm not sitting here about the cape and act like Shedeur is a perfect quarterback prospect. He has some limitations to his game, and I understand that. But let's not overthink this.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, like, come on, man. Damn.
All right, let's do a quick recap of picks 1 through. Cam Ward went number 1 overall. Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Armand Mambu went 4 to the Patriots. Mason Graham went to the Jaguars. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. Jahdae Barron to the Jets. Shamar Stewart to the Panthers. Ted McMillan to the Saints. Mike Green to the Bears. Will Campbell landed with the San Francisco 49ers. Matthew Golden to the Cowboys. Walter Nolan to the Dolphins. Tyler Warren to the Colts. Michael Williams stays in Georgia and goes to the Falcons. Will Johnson to the Cardinals. Derek Harmon to the Bengals. Malachi Starks to the Seahawks. Jihad Campbell to the Bucks. Omarion Hampton to the Broncos. And Shedeur Sanders to the Pittsburgh Squealers. All right. To me, so back on me. I understand we got Luther Burden here, but Harbaugh can't pass up on this guy, man. Colston Loveland to the Chargers. Colston Loveland to the Chargers gives them a receiving threat that they can pair with
Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey.
Well, what's up with us today?
I don't know, man. I can't remember. I'm off my game, but yeah.
I know I'm tired, but
yeah, pair with Lad McConkey, and there's that familiarity there. I think he's definitely going to run up to the podium, make this pick, and he'll be able to get his guy. So I'm going Colston Loveland here. But like you said, there is a Luther Burden that you could possibly go with as well.
I thought you were going to go with Kenneth Grant.
I thought about it, but I think that with the depth on the defensive line, I think that they'll be able to get some defensive interior help later on in the draft with a couple bodies.
Yeah. I'm on the clock. I got the Green Bay Packers, and you know I'm going Luther Burton. That's the joke. We all know that, like I said, the Packers do not draft wide receivers in the first round. They are going to have to show me that they have changed their way. They haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round since Javon Walker. So they're going there. We're gonna keep the reunited theme. And get my guy Donovan. He's a rookie.
Ezraku.
Raku, something. You know who it is, Boston College.
Boston College. There we go.
His former defensive coordinator is the defensive coordinator for the Packers. They definitely need somebody at edge that can just win one-on-one.
Something. Just do something. Please.
Yeah.
You got Lucas Van Ness. He ain't really popped. They really just haven't had the production from their defensive line that you would really want.
That you would think,
yeah. So I think getting Donovan Ezraku in there, I actually really like Donovan Ezraku.
I thought about him. I thought about him for y'all.
Yeah,
I thought about him for y'all.
You know, I brought him up to you before. I would not hate that pick. So yeah, I think that it would be a really solid pick for us. And so yeah, I'm up with the Minnesota Vikings at number 24, and I'm sure I'm gonna save us some time instead of having to scroll down. But I'm going Azareye'h Thomas out of Florida State, because I think getting a very, very skilled man corner in that Brian Flores defense is something that Brian Flores would really, really, leap at the opportunity to have. You could put Azareye'h out there, and even though he was on a team that, did not perform well last year, he still held it down on an island. So I think Azareye'h Thomas to the Minnesota Vikings, especially with Savon Revel coming off of the injury, I think Azareye'h Thomas will be the pick there.
Did your bias kick in?
No. I just think that he's a really good man corner, and I think he's going to sneak in the back end of this first round, and I think this is the perfect team to make that pick.
I come around.
I'm putting my stamp on this one. We've had a couple picks each year that we put our stamp on. This will be the one that I put my stamp on. Azareye'h Thomas to the Minnesota Vikings. What's happening?
I think what you need? You need
you open it.
I got you. It's right here.
I don't need to open it.
You just said me to open it.
I need you to. No, I don't need to open it.
Okay, baby. All right.
I want to show you.
Okay. Okay, I'm on the clock, right? Say hey.
Sir.
Hi.
You say hey.
Yeah, Daddy.
And this is funny. You gave me two options that they can't pass up. I know for a fact that I have been dying for, other than Ibuka. If he doesn't come to Dallas, I want him to reunite with CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But Kelvin Banks Jr. is right here, bro.
Yes. Exactly.
I'm sorry.
You have to. You got to make this pick,
because they've been revamping whatever they've been doing. This offensive line they've been doing something. They need to do something else. And Kelvin Banks Jr. is right here falling in your lap. I get it. Josh Simmons is another person in play.
That knee injury, man. That knee injury to me. I just do not know if he comes right in and you need someone to come right in and just get the work.
And at the same time, like we talked about with Will Campbell, like Kelvin Banks could move into guard,
right,
as well, like I said. But I believe he's a tackle as well. But he does have that versatility to actually slide into guard. Josh Simmons is a left tackle. That's it. So if you draft him, to draft him. But yeah, I'm sorry, Ibuka. I tried.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he'll slide. But yeah, Kelvin Banks to the Texans. All right. So the Los Angeles Rams are on the clock, and for me personally, I understand they, they have. I'm not gonna do it. But
what would you think about doing? Go ahead and say what you think about doing that you're not about to do now.
because I was just like, man, I like Luther Burden, but I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I think that to me, with the front four that they have, they need some help on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's either between, like a guy like Maxwell Harrison or Trey Amos. I'm gonna go Trey Amos here because I think he's starting to kind of rise up boards, and I think a lot of people are starting to like what he does as a corner. And so I think he'll be able to kind of, slot into that defense. They get pressure, so he can just jump right in and be able to contribute as a rookie. So I'm going Trey Amos here.
All right. I didn't mean this. Now you're taking all my draft rants out. Can I get my cornerback rant out the way now?
Go ahead.
This is a very good cornerback draft.
Yep.
But a damn show ain't great. I see a lot of DJ Reeves, Carlton Davis's type of cornerbacks. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see, the true number ones, developing as in cornerbacks. I see a lot of good ones, a lot of good dudes that can help, may help elevate a whole defense. I get it. We done took 2 in the first round. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. I completely understand you, but I think that there is. It's what we talked about early on.
Oh, for
if
sure.
It's your guy, go get. And then what we may look at them as. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of going back to that point. All right. Baltimore is on the clock.
They would be the team that could use the James Pierce. Got a lot of off the field concerns. Kind of, worry about that. He said, Kenneth Grant could work. Big boy just retired. I think Michael Pierce.
Yeah.
He retired. So they can use a Kenneth Grant. So I know Kenneth Grant is in my back pocket right here. Scroll down right quick. I'm sorry. Back pocket for what? Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
This is a typical Ravens pick.
Yeah.
It's a pick of somebody that was highly touted, highly ranked, and it somehow slipped. Somebody overthought it, and next thing you know, he goes to the Ravens, and then we get the Kyle Hamilton situation all over again. This is another team that uses versatility in their defensive players. So, sorry for ya.
All right. So we know everything that the Lions really, really are looking for. And so, this would be, like I said, people probably screaming, James Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be a funny draft. And you're going to laugh at me. But go at Jack Sawyer, dog.
Nah.
Listen to
me. I believe it, though. I believe it.
But you feel me, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the eye of the beholder. You think about what Dan Campbell has gotten. Remember, he got Jack Campbell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Relentless motor.
Yep.
And he went and got him in the first round. People were like, what are you doing?
You don't draft an off-ball linebacker that high.
And then you went and got an edge rusher in Aiden Hutchinson, who was the defensive player of the year before he broke his leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does Jack Sawyer play?
Relentless motor, nonstop. He played like a Detroit Lion.
He plays like a Detroit Lion, and even if he may not be the best pass rusher in this draft, he's going to go after the ball. He's going to make plays happen. He's always going to be around the ball. And then you put him on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. To me, I think that is a really good pairing. And again, Jack Sawyer is a good do-it-all defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I think Jack Sawyer, they would look long and hard at Jack Sawyer, and I think that this would be one of the picks here.
He could probably get 10 sacks straight off cleanups,
just straight up, just hustle. Aiden Hutchinson running him into a sack.
Yeah, so that's I will laugh because it's funny, but it's Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going Jack Sawyer here because again, some of these players are going to slide, and we're going to be like, how the hell?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to happen.
Like prime example, Luther Burden would have been perfect right here.
Yeah,
still probably should be perfect. Probably still should be the pick. Debo shouldn't stop them from getting, shouldn't stop them from getting.
Shouldn't stop a thing.
Still got Terry McLaurin. James Pierce is right here, and James Pierce is probably Dan Quinn could probably be the perfect, coach to whatever character issues that he has. Dan Quinn could definitely, mitigate all that. They went and got Larry Tunsil, so they know they could go Grace Abel. They could go Mecca Buka because they did a lot of running around. Yeah, Josh Conley could go. Keep going now. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you can go back up. Yeah, it's James Pierce up.
Yeah,
we ain't gonna keep overtaking everything.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. At some point, it's just like you gotta make the call. To me, it's like, excuse me, like you were saying, not to overthink it, but you just gotta make the call sometimes. And so I think for the Bills, they need pass rush in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Von Miller didn't work, none of that. I think, like it's like we still have Nick Scordon here on the board, but I think as far as a pass rush goes, I think Landon Jackson and Princely, Uman Mielen are the two better pass rushers.
Not my pick.
What'd you say?
It is not my pick. It's okay.
No, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say though.
No, it's not my pick, so I can't sway you.
Oh, okay. But so I'm going to bypass Nick Scordon and I'm going to go Landon Jackson here.
I knew you were going to do it. That's why I didn't want to sway you. Princely is the one.
You think it's Princely?
Oh, my God, bro. They just got Joey Bosa. They got Joey Bosa.
They did get Joey Bosa. Oh, man. I forgot about
that. But look, and they still got Greg Rousseau. I get it. Landon definitely fits the part. He fits the part. He looks the part. But Princely is.
Do you think Princely is the pick? That's what he does.
Princely gets sacks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you would have put him in, and if he was just the designated pass rusher, mode, that would have been my pick. But Landon Jackson, but they go still need somebody because they may put Joey Bosa may not be he may be the designated pass rusher. He may be in that Von Miller role based off his health.
Right, and I was gonna say, to me, Joey Bosa don't stop nothing.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Joey Bosa does not stop the show.
I only mentioned him because of the type. That's the only reason I mentioned him.
Yeah,
he definitely don't stop nothing. That's why I still would talk about Princely. I didn't say no. They shouldn't have did the edge. No, so but once again, what we just talked about earlier, this is the eye of the beholder type of situation.
For sure.
Oh man, Andy Reid's gonna run to the podium. This is Josh Simmons, dog.
Yeah. What I was
For
gonna
me.
ask, yeah. Would
Or
you
it could be
consider-
Josh Connolly.
Yeah, because again, they need help
Health.
immediately, and Josh Simmons' health. Because I think he tore his patella tendon.
Yeah, they say he's gonna be healthy though. You're gonna be right, but like it's
Yeah,
patella.
you're gonna
You
be
saved
healthy
me from
but-
myself.
but- yeah, you're gonna be healthy. Let's see what other tackles are available.
Good save. They could go with Greg Zabel as well, though, even though because they got the dude from
Kingsley.
they got the back they plan on moving him to guard or the bench completely. But they got the boy from the backup from 49ers. I think he's going to play tackle. So, and like I said, they need interior work because they lost Tooney. So Greg Zabel could be in play right here.
I think to me it's between Greg Zabel and Connolly. Oh, it's not my pick. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Greg Zabel. I forgot they got the tackle. They got the tackle. They need to get it. Okay.
Yep.
What you about to do? You got to round it up.
I got to round it up. So to me, I think to me it's between. It's not even between. I'm going to go Nick Gordon here. Replace Josh Sweat. But I was thinking about just because to me this just seems like a place. Hey, Kenneth Grant is high on people's boards. So I just don't know if they would let him go. Like if he would, like they would just let him pass, bring him in here, put him in the rotation with Jalen Carter and
you got Jordan
Davis. Yeah, but Kenneth Grant got a little bit more explosiveness to him than Jordan Davis. So you could put him next to Jalen Carter, and they can both collapse the pocket. And he can kind of replace your Milton Williams in that pass rush, like in that interior pass rush rotation.
That's why I thought you was going to mention Darius Alexander. Yeah,
I like Darius Alexander, but I just don't know if what they're, if the small school at Toledo was hurting them. You know what I mean?
I mean, they drafted Milton Williams.
Yeah, they did. But I just think.
But yeah, him being at Toledo definitely going to hurt him at this point. Like I said, it's between Nick Gordon.
Because this is a first round pick, and Milton Williams was not like Milton Williams was
not a first round pick.
He was a day 2 or day 3 pick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking between Kenneth Grant and Nick Gordon. But you know what? Because it's
Sharon Ravel.
Yeah, and then you can put Cooper DeJean and like let him be that full-time nickel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, Shavonna Princely. That's why I'm glad I scrolled down.
Oh.
Ooh,
yeah.
Princely.
They definitely they going trenches first.
Yeah, Princely. Yeah, I gotta go Princely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad I scrolled down a little bit more.
Ouch.
All right. So let's do our first round recap.
Hey, Dad.
What's up? So with the number 1 overall pick, we went Cam Ward, followed by Abdul Carter to the Browns, Travis Hunter, Armand Mambu to the Patriots, Mason Graham to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashton Jensen to the Raiders, Jahdae Barron to the Jets, Shamar Stewart to the Carolina Panthers, Ted McMillan to the Saints, Mike Green to the Bears, Will Campbell to the San Francisco 49ers, Matthew Golden to the Dallas Cowboys, Walter Nolan to the Miami Dolphins, Tyler Warren to the Colts. Talk about match made in heaven. Michael Williams to the Falcons, Will Johnson to the Cardinals. Then we got Derek Harmon to the Cincinnati Bengals, Malachi Starks to the Seattle Seahawks, Jihad Campbell to replace Levante David in Tampa, Omarion Hampton to the Broncos, Shedeur Sanders ends up with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, Colston Loveland reunites with Harbaugh in Los Angeles, Donovan Ezeraku reunites with his coach in Green Bay, Azareye'h Thomas to the Vikings, Kelvin Banks Jr. to give some type of help to that offensive line in Houston, Trey Amos to the Rams, Jalen Walker to the Ravens, Jack Sawyer sneaks into the first round to the Lions. James Pierce to the Commanders. Landon Jackson to the Buffalo Bills. Gray Zabel to the Kansas City Chiefs. And Princely Umanmielen to the Philadelphia Eagles. How we feeling about the first part 1 of the mock draft?
Kenneth Grant was still on the board.
Little Brown was
we do
not
kind of feel
on the board.
kind of bad for somebody of that
Fuck
ilk.
you out.
Him, Luther Burden. But it's gonna happen. Somebody
every year we see it, where it's people that we feel, get out of the, that are, people feel like are high on in the first round that still there in the second. And I think this is where you start to see them phones ring, all overnight, and we come back and such and such has made a trade, such and such has made a trade. And I know you say there's no way Grant gets out the first round, but I do think it, there is a world that can happen just the way that the draft board has fallen. Because again, like I said, with the interior line that people have, like the interior talent that is in this draft, some people may, it just depends on what you want. And I think some certain players offer certain opportunities that some other might, and scheme fit. And so again, this is one of those, if you like your guy, go get your guy type draft. So I think there's a world where it happens,
because it's one of those moments of his pass rushing ability is a projection.
Yeah, he's more of a run stopper,
one take, and those, of course,
those guys don't often those
go in the first.
Yeah, and again, it's a possibility that Kenneth Grant goes to the Cincinnati Bengals and Derek Harmon does not go at 17, and Derek Harmon is the one that doesn't get picked in the first round. But again, we know the Bengals need pass rush help, so that's why you can say Derek Harmon over a Kenneth Grant, and then some of the teams that goes on, hey, it just happens. Sure, y'all will not be on the phone trying to trade back if you about to draft Shedeur Sanders, Marcus. Boy, don't know what he want.
Everything, man. But like I said, this was the first. Oh my God, this is the first rendition of our mock draft. We're doing something a little different this year. Like you said, I had the odd numbers this go around. AJ had the even number. So the second time we do our mock draft, the part 2, I will have the evens and AJ will have the odds. So yeah, when are we gonna do that one?
All right. Yeah. We frozen. I don't know what Hill said. If he already did,
he had nothing I said.
Nope. What'd you say?
About the I said I had a whole rant. Hey man, we out, man. Look, I had the he had the even. Next mock draft it's gonna be the inverse of that. So we out. Catch us on all major podcast platforms. 3Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. I'm Hill. That's AJ. This Dallas. Y'all the fours, and some of y'all the Fab Five, and we out.